airlocks are quite a problem, aren't they? Yeah, some of you keep getting them all the time. You wrote to me, it seems to be endless. We clear one and we get another one back the following week or the following day. Some of you say things like, well, I've got a tap that's not going at all, I can't get any water out of it, is it airlocked? Well, you know, we blame everything on airlocks, but airlocks are caused usually by other items in your plumbing system that do it in the first place. So let's take a look at a few of the things, shall we, that can cause you airlock problems. Now, one of the things that often causes airlocks, and obviously we're talking really about those of you with F&E systems, used with combis, are quite safe, everything's mains powered pretty much. Okay, so what happens now? You have a roof tank up in the loft that feeds a hot water tank that comes out and feeds your hot taps. So you've got a roof tank ball valve in there. Now I've just shown this plastic one, this is actually a system one, but there's a reason I'm showing this one. But it will be a metal one probably with a what we call a part 1 or part 2 ball cock in the tank. Now if you get a little bit of muck in these, they can stop the flow, which means that you could empty the water out of that tank faster than it would fill, and once it drops below the inlet pipe that feeds the cylinder, you get an airlock. Now the reason that that can happen is because the water has to pass through this. This is the seating of the valve. Yeah, I know I'm showing you a plastic one, but the metal one's exactly the same. And if I pop this out and drop it on the floor, why does it always happen to me? Anyway, you'll have one of these. Okay, and you can see how small it is, tiny, just a little bit of debris and that's blocked up. So why don't we fit a bigger one, you say, a wider one like this one for instance? Well, the valve wouldn't operate properly then. When it reached the level, the water level, it wouldn't be able to shut off against the pressure. So it has to be a small one to hold the pressure back and fill at the correct rate. Okay, so therefore that does mean if that blocks up, you're in trouble and you'll empty the tank out probably quicker than you would like, and that would cause the airlock. Once air gets into the cold feed to that cylinder, you'll get an airlock. Okay, so it's worth checking if it keeps repeatedly doing it, but there's other things to look at as well. And that one is a strange one, you might think, but it's usage. So if someone's using a shower for instance, and your cold and hot are fed from the tank and they're being pumped by a 2-bar pump for instance, shall we say, into the shower, gives you loads of pressure, lovely, yes, but what about if someone decides they'll use a wash machine down the kitchen for instance and do some washing, and someone else decides, oh well, you know, I've got to use the other spare toilet or whatever, flush the loo, things like this, and a bit of water's being used, or someone's even out in the garden running a hose. Yeah, what's going to happen is that ball cock in the loft is not going to get the pressure it needs. It's going to start filling in very slowly, and obviously what's going to happen is you're going to get an airlock once again. Alright, and this is going to be a problem when it's a pumped shower. I've even known them to empty out quicker than the tank can fill with nothing else running, just the shower going, because the pump is so powerful it's sucking the level down of that tank until it reaches the inlet. Because that's why some people would say, I keep getting an airlock, oh, once I've had a shower the water won't run again. I use the shower and it's all gone, you know, I've got no hot water, and that is because I say them pumps are so powerful they can pull the water out of that tank faster than it can fill up, especially if that little seating part that I showed you there has got a bit of gubbery in it, a bit of debris in it. Get it right. So that's something indeed to look for, and something to watch out for when you're using power showers, simply because that pump's so great it can suck it down quick. You might be worth just going up in the tank and have a look, see what the water level is. It might be very low, it might just want lifting a bit more, so you've got a bit more in the tank, in which case you can adjust the arms to bring the water level up a little bit more, a bit closer to the overflow for instance, just maybe a couple of inches from it, and that would give you the extra water you need before you actually ended up draining the tank down and causing another airlock. Now, a lot of you said you've got toilet systems that run really slow, you know, have I got an airlock in that? And again, this valve that I showed you, it is a toilet system valve, bottom entry valve, but again, if it's got one of these seams in it, the high pressure one, you will find that it will run really slow. It's nothing actually wrong, it's just that you've got the wrong seating in it, and that's where the one that I dropped earlier, this orange one, fits in its place. So that goes in there then, and you've got a much wider orifice. The system will fall much quicker, and you'll find it's all okay once you've done that. Now, lots of valves in cisterns are completely different these days to this type, and they don't have anything like a seating that reduces the pressure. They don't use anything like these in them. They just flow in. So how do they resist the pressure on those? Well, they have a filter fitted in the inside that comes out, like, it could be something like this, twirly one, fits in like that, slow it down. Or it could be just a standard type of filter thing like this that fits in the end like so. Okay, and it reduces the pressure. You may have one of those in the inlet to your valve. If your toilet system is really slow, it's something to have a check and look at that on the inlet, okay? Next thing up, obviously, the isolation valve. We've done these a million times, haven't we? You can see how small the hole is there, and it does reduce pressure. If you've got these on feeds, on hot water going to taps and things on a F&E system, it's slow already, so you don't need these to slow it down more. And you may have the cold feed from the tank as well, and so you have these on there, you're going to slow it right down, okay? And one other thing, what we're going to do, sometimes fittings have these on that before they go into a tank, so you might find you've got a filter in there like that. Yeah, it'd be on any fitting at all. It could be just one that feeds your shower. They often have them there. You have them on valves sometimes, as I say, just before they go into the cistern, and these could be little filters in there, and they block up as usual and slow everything down. So it's another one to look for when you think, why is it running slow? Have I got an airlock? No, probably not. It probably got a filter in it. One other then, yeah, regard taps. If you've got single taps, the old type sink taps or basin that are separate, not joined up, not a combination pair, you'll find sometimes you'll get one tap, usually a hot one, that has got no turns left in it. You can barely turn it more than half a turn, and it probably have these inside them. These are the main body of the tap. These bits come out like so, and this part here is responsible for turning the washer down. If you can see that turning out of there, I'll turn it back in again. And what happens is that these actually unscrew inside the tap, and it comes virtually right out. When it does, you've got no turns left. You'll have a hell of a job undoing this, because it will be locked against the seat of the tap, so it'll be very tough to get off. If you persevere and get it off, you'll find it's unthreaded like that. Okay, it's come undone because it's an anti-clockwise thread, so you've got to just screw it back in like so and put it in. I've got a video on how to do and explain it completely, which I'll give you a link to above my head now. So what else does that leave us with? Well, probably how to clear them. Now, if you've got separate taps, you can get a little bit of hose and pick one on the cold, one on the hot, and open it up and let it go. That's okay, but if you've got mixers, it's rather a problem. But I've got a video on that one. Very, very easy, more than you think it would be easy. And that would be to open the hot tap that's not running and put your thumb over the spout, open the cold one and force water up the hot water feed and into the tank, and it will clear it for you. Not all taps allow that to happen, and it won't allow it to happen if you've got non-return valves on the pipes. That stops it dead in its tracks, unfortunately, but it is a good one other than that. Also, if you've got non-return valves in the hot feed, obviously on any of them you can't do that. But if you haven't, and most of you haven't, you could also try running from an outside tap, a pipe, and bringing the pipe in, adapting it onto the outlet of the tap, you know, the spring bit that comes over. Yes, that bit. And once that's on there, get someone to open the cold tap outside, the outside tap. You open the hot one and hold the thing on the spout. Again, you force mains up into the tank and clear the airlock. All right, it's another way. But other than that, there's not many other ways. You've got to just keep on trying until you get it out. I think we've kind of gone through all the ways now. If you have had works done out the front or around the corner by a waterboard company digging up water mains, and messing about with them, then you're very likely to get something down that water main. It always happens, and that's when you can get the trouble with the filters and the little seating that I told you about in the main tank. So do suspect that, especially if you've had work done outside in the street, because that's a common one that happens all the time. Okay, that's about it though. Now I'm sure you've got your own ideas in getting airlocks out. I'll be pleased to hear them. Write them down in the description below. I'm sure everyone else will as well. We all get stuck sometimes. We get stuck and, well, we're going to fix this, and it'd be great to hear from you. Okay, that's about it though. All my stuff here to go. Derek 33. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.